Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel and back to another game review. Today we are talking about Endzone. So, Endzone is a post-apocalyptic survival city builder simulation game that came out on the 19th of March, which is like 3 days ago now. Now, normally I do not play a lot of city builder games. The only thing that I've played that comes close to this genre is Jurassic World Evolution, which came out about 4 years ago now, so that's not relevant anymore. But I find this game mildly addictive. You know, it's one of those games that I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'll play for an hour, and an hour goes by, and I'm like, okay, an hour's hit, now I'm gonna do this last quest, and then I'm gonna leave. And then you do that last quest, and then that quest leads to another quest, and then that quest leads to another quest, and then all of a sudden you're there for 3 hours, and you're like, well, shit, I missed my deadline, and now I'm fucked. There are three modes when you first create a game. There's the tutorial mode, the normal survival mode, and the scenarios mode, which I didn't try because I'm not good at the game and I would probably fail the scenarios horribly. But anyway, I played the survival mode, which came in a variety of difficulties, and there are also some world generation which can be randomized, or you can select the amount of mountains you want, whether you want more mountains, more water, less water, more scrap, less scrap. Now, the main premise of a city builder is to assign people to do certain things. At the beginning, you always have a lack of people, you have a lack of resources and everything, and so you find yourself trying to prioritize what is most important. Sometimes you need more people to gather scrap, sometimes you need more people to gather wood. You gotta micromanage all these small little things, you gotta change what protection the tailors are making. Endzone has many different factors that contribute to its success. Not only does it have its night and day cycle, which is normal, it also has a weather system, which is also normal, but it also has a research aspect and a expedition aspect. Don't get me wrong, other games like Jurassic World Evolution had research and development. It also had expeditions where you could go and find other fossils. But the expeditions in Endzone were just a lot more thought out. There was a lot more you can do. When you visit a place, you can decide to go in a certain room and go down a certain hallway. You can loot a certain thing in this certain room. It's just more fleshed out. The research is about the same as Jurassic World Evolution. There's not much difference in research. You just plop a building down, assign people to it, you gain research points, and then you put resources into researching that certain thing. The weather system is also pretty normal. You have your typical rain. Different rains bring different types of radiation levels. Some bring more highly contaminated ones, some bring more low level ones. There's also a sandstorm that occasionally comes when there's a drought. By occasionally, I mean it always comes during a drought most of the time unless you're super lucky. So that's just gonna tear up your whole buildings, it's gonna destroy buildings. In my last playthrough, I found myself constantly fixing buildings. By the time I finished fixing buildings, a new sandstorm would arrive and I would just have to refix everything. It was actually super annoying. And of course, there's the random survivors of the apocalypse. Those that hurt other people to survive, you know, taking your resources, threatening you to give up half of your resources or they'll destroy your village. It's super annoying. There's also a trading system that comes in more late game, which is very useful when you are in desperate need of a certain item, like gas masks or neck scarves. They also have like a shit ton of data everywhere. I think that's normal in city builders though. You have the radiation data, which displays what radiation is affecting your area. You have your electricity area, which shows you which building is affected, which building is not affected. And then at your bottom left, you have a bar that brings up pie charts and graphs and, you know, just numbers that I don't really want to give a shit about. I occasionally open it to see where my resources are at, but most of that is displayed at the top anyway. The only thing that you really open that up to see is the turnover for some of your resources like water and wood and food. I appreciate the effort though. There are also quests that you can do which occasionally pop up randomly depending on what resources you're lacking. So if a lot of people are missing radiation protective gear, the task will pop up and say, "Boss, we need more protective gear. How about you make some for us? And in reward, we'll give you some extra." Haha. This happens quite a lot when you're first starting. A lot of random quests just start popping up, which are really good for helping you build up your encampment. There's also something you can build. It's like a town center where you can make decrees and laws. You can tell people, hey, don't have kids. You can tell people to banish the old people, which obviously will affect your settlers' happiness. And if they're more happy, then you get more efficient workers. If they're less happy, then well, you're fucked. A lot of effort has definitely been put into this game, and it's definitely a game that I enjoy and that I will play occasionally on and off. I played through the game 4 times. What took me a couple of hours in the first playthrough, I abandoned, by the way. Took me about an hour in my second playthrough, which I also abandoned, and I moved to my third, which I also abandoned, and in my fourth one, I was so prepared. I knew what I needed to get first. And I got all of that out the way, and my people didn't die, and I was happy, and eventually my city became fucking huge. So I give Endzone a very solid 8 out of 10. And I'm not really a city building player, and I was very satisfied with the game. Of course, there are still the scenarios that I haven't played that I don't know if I'm going to get into. I'm not sure my brain can survive. If you do want to try out the game though, it is $15 right now on Steam. There is a discount on the 26th of March, so you better get it now if you want to get it, if it does interest you. If you played any city building games in the past, you will definitely love this game. It's definitely very fun, very interesting, very addictive. If you want to dispute any comments that I have about the game, feel free to do so in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts about the game if you've tried it. If you've enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you want to see more reviews like this in the future, hit the sub button. I would really appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next review. Take care of yourself. Ciao.